Um, what these sorts of meetings seem to do, or seem to appear to do, is return constantly to the inexplicable immediacy of just what's appearing to happen. Breathing, feeling, thoughts, sounds, and the hearing of a voice, and so utterly and completely uncomplicated, really. Something that requires nothing, no knowledge, no understanding, no getting to, no arriving at. Just this suddenness, the immediacy of hearing, and the fullness of hearing, the fullness of thoughts, the very fullness of feelings, and all that appears, and it can be called aliveness, utter, unsparing aliveness, and it floods as senses what is this immediacy, and it is utterly, completely, and totally inescapable, because it appears as exactly whatever is. And the suggestion being made here is that there isn't you and feelings, there isn't you and thoughts, there isn't you and sensations, there isn't you and sounds. There's just that. There's just sounds, there's just hearing, there's just this, and there is nothing apart. And that sentence, there is nothing apart, can't be known then, because there would have to be something apart. So this sharing and gathering is a sort of, this description is from nothing, and nothing isn't a place. It's the sound, it's sound, really, and nothing is being described or said. And yet within this, there's a sort of there's different perspectives, different realities. One where this is known, where life is known, where life can be explained, and the currency and movement through life is normally through understanding, process, getting there, arriving. And this is what's been described here, is so totally and utterly and completely beyond any concept, any idea, and that doesn't make it then suddenly aloof or apart or complicated. In actual fact, it's just the impossibleness of just sitting on a chair, breathing, happening. And there's the dilemma in all of this, that when something like this is being shared, it can be felt then that if there's, in the normal run of things, that then something can be got from this, and perhaps that can be exposed, and the seeking can be exposed as just being seeking, because really in the end, here in this meeting, there is perhaps a seeking movement to want to know that there is no self, to want to know what's appearing to happen, to want to know life and have it and understand it, and then whatever. And then all that happens is there's a response to that, and really nothing is offered. And perhaps then within that, seeking can be exposed just for what it appears to be, seeking, just happening. And so that's kind of what this meeting is perhaps about, let's just say, but it's totally and utterly nothing to do with what was said there. And really, it's just, it won't be had, but let's have a go and let's see what happens, and let's share. And if there's questions there to be asked, then they're there to be asked. If there's comments, whatever. So let's see how it goes. If you haven't by chance been here before, just hit the unmute button and jump in, and otherwise, put a comment or whatever, and let's see how it goes. Hi, Frank. Hi, Frank. Can you speak to that which resonates, which this message resonates? Sorry, I need to expand this window here that I can read this. Hi, Frank. Can you speak to that which this message resonates with? You could just say there's just resonance, but it's nobody's resonance. So there'd have to be something in there then that it could resonate with. It's kind of the everythingness, you could say, but it's so utterly beyond. You see, intellectually, it sort of starves that which is used to digesting information. It kind of starves that because there's nothing there, and it's used to, and you could say it's used to getting its way. It's used to kind of getting information, and especially things that it seeks to understand. It gets things always. It's used to getting and understanding, and this, there's nothing on offer, nothing being explained, nothing being described, and nothing isn't a thing. It really is that. It's so ordinary and simple that there's just nothing in it for that which is used to. So then there's the word resonance is a great word to, you could say resonance is the everythingness, or just a wonderful example of how it's so, as a word, so utterly, completely beyond the mind, and, you know, and just how there really is no free will and choice, in case there's any doubt, like, because there's just nothing in it at all. And so then yet somehow the seeker would say appears to find himself back here trying to get this, and then obviously it just keeps hearing, well, there's no one already, the prize has been received, there's nothing to get, it's this. And so that's, you could say resonance is just that it's so utterly beyond, and it's just a word perhaps, but it really doesn't capture, no word captures this, and so it's nothing. So to be, what was the question? There isn't a that which this resonates with. There's just resonance, we'll say.
Hey, Frank.
Hiya.
Hey, Frank. This I, which is pronounced as an illusion. Yeah, what it is when this happens? Is it then nothing is made into something instead of something is nothing? It does this. You can say this split come along with a consciousness of, or this illusion I, and then I have the idea that everything is split from nothing. I don't know if it is clear what I'm asking about, but is consciousness the same as the I, or is it the I which create consciousness? When I suddenly think I reflect, I think I reflect, then there is no I which reflect, but I can experience or have the idea that now I reflect. Yeah,
So
maybe it's the same as I have heard the expression, you don't hear the bird you hear, you don't hear the sound of the bird, you hear the bird.
There's just hearing, or there's just that sound fully as that sound. There isn't consciousness. There isn't an I.
No, and you can it be said that it's a misfunction of the brain? It's an illusion. It doesn't exist, because this I can tell myself there is no I, and I can in a way then I have in a way the idea of an I, and in a way when you talk, then when we are in this, you can say this meeting, it is again much more clear. It's obvious there's only this resonance or this hearing or this seeing, but yeah,
well, you see, in a way there's a kind of an idea that there should be proof, or it should be arrived upon, and then it'll be known. And that's kind of that's the energy of for that which is used to getting. Do you know what I mean? So it won't ever be known that there is no self. It's not a known thing. There just isn't a self. So then it's impossible, because in a way what happens is you talk about that which doesn't exist, so you bring it to life, and then you say it doesn't exist, but you've already brought it to life.
Yeah.
But so the obviousness in a way is almost like an aberration, in the sense that it can't be held. It's not like it's a fixed obviousness, because that's in the usual run of the world. It's, sure, I know that's a chair over there. That's obvious in a way, and it's like fixed. Whereas there's obvious or not obvious. It's kind of as what's appearing to happen. So then it's free, but it isn't a fixed held position. There's no position either. So it's exactly as what was asked there, and yet somehow then there's maybe a few held ideas somehow about I, and but it's so naturally the case already. It's so naturally there already. That's why nothing falls away.
Yeah. What to say? Yeah.
Amazingly, it is that it is as what to say, as opposed to the idea of having something to say that'll make this. It's as that. Do you know what I mean? It's that natural response. What to say? Sure. What to say exactly? That's what's to say. It's this. So then it's not about anything clever or an insight or a having. In a way, it's the breaking or end of all that, because that is really, that's how everything is taken in. We digest, we eat food, and we understand, and we take it all in. And this can't be had wonderfully, because it is as the sentence, this can't be had. So how can that be had?
Yeah. It's difficult to say I get it, because then there is some of this now I know what you're talking about, but it's not this. I just it's
but actually it's wonderfully as that sentence, as opposed to having anything. Do you know what I mean? It's okay, as opposed to I've got it. It's because it won't be held onto. It's
no.
as that, and it's always too late. It's saying it's too late is too late. It's like constantly falling through the hands. It's like maybe the hands get like water through your hands. Maybe there's a bit of wetness in the hands because this freshness, but it won't be held on to, you know, because it's as that sentence there. It's as hearing. It's immediately as whatever is happening. So there's nothing once removed. It just appears like with words that, and when words are taken to be the real, that this then can be described, and yet it's as describing or as sounding as opposed to something being explained. And that's the difference in a way that perhaps can be felt, let's just say, and that's this beyond the words idea. So it's this like, so what's to be said? Whatever appears to be being said.
Yeah. It's funny how it can be difficult to hear what you say because it's a way kind of words coming out and it can't there's nowhere to place the words. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm intrigued by that too. It seems to be a boom.
Yeah.
And but really nothing then is coming out though. It's just sound, you know, it's just a kind of a describing, but somehow and then this, you know, the description at the start of the meeting is kind of it's a total story, but it kind of sets the scene for this that can't be held on to, this that can't be known or explained. It'd be so dry. It is this pulsating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really more right to say I don't get it. Yeah.
And yet it's as I don't get it as much as I get it, in the sense of it's just as what's happening as opposed to anything intellectual. In a way, you see, oh, you know, this is just happening. It's a total unfathomable mystery. There's no one in there that can have anything, and seeking just appears to happen. It seems like then with words, a description can be put on seeking, you know, but really here is just seeking to understand and greeted with not even nothing. It's just, it's like you could say it's like a mirror or nothing at all. And it's the question is this response, is this feelings, are this, it's the inescapable intimacy of just what is, and it won't be known as a thing apart from that, as what is. It's this like. If I could play drums.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, same to you.
There's a question or comment here. The word beyond suggests further away, and seeking is always looking for further away. Yeah, I can see why that would be the case. It's when the sentence, it's so beyond the words, is heard, it's imagined then that it's so far away from the words that it's something complicated, and or something that can be got to, or something so mysterious that words can't bring it. And yet it is as words appearing, not what's being described. So the point of this sentence is this sentence, as opposed to any point being made. It's as laughing, it's as that question, it's as that clapping, and it won't be hard. It's like constantly falling, constantly dancing, but as dancing as falling, and no word and every word. So it's horribly and wonderfully, it is as typing that comment there. But it's no, it is seeking, is just seeking, and it's fully that then. And you can't do seeking or not do it. It's just what's appearing to happen, or appearing to be what is described, perhaps, and felt. But that would also be this. Just a comment here. Hi, Frank. Nothing to say other than nothing matters. Also very relaxing on body as no one. Thank you.
Hey Frank.
Oh yeah.
Hi. So I don't even know how to exactly formulate my question, but like time is apparently running out, so I just felt like, okay, just give it a try. Uh, I don't know, like there is like I can sense that there is something here is something like really condensed, like or not like, and it is like in this kind of this meeting, which is apparently held by you. It is palpable. I think that's the English word. But as soon as the meeting is over, it's gone in a way. And I would like to know what is the difference. What's that? I mean, maybe I ask a crazy that maybe that's a crazy question because maybe you're not that high sensitive human body mind, so then you hear that and think what is she even talking about? But like, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a sort of a story, but there is something utterly in the normal run of the world versus sort of a meeting like this. It is totally different. Um, there is this sort of it's nothing, perhaps, and it's fully free to be nothing. You could say. I can't really say, but I know. I can kind of understand or sense what you're talking about. There is it is like I think these are amazing. These meetings,
Yes,
I think they're absolutely amazing.
I agree. Yeah.
Amazing that there's questions. Amazing, there's sort of responses. Um, it's electric,
Hmm.
and somebody else might come along and go, it's like watching paint dry. That's. But
And
but then
uh,
it's a story kind of being told as well. When the meetings are over, but it is
yeah.
that's all. Then uh, it's
Mm.
it's it's also just what is,
Yes.
just what is, and I can't.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's like having dinner, and then the dinner's gone. It's everything is this, and then thoughts then might appear, oh, it's over or whatever. You know what I mean? It,
And there there was a second thing question coming up. I mean, on one level, I already somehow know the wording and the wording of the maybe coming have going to have an answer. But
oh,
anyways, so I give it a shot. Um,
I don't.
uh, okay. So what exactly, like like although I know like intellectually I know there is no realization, but still there must have been a realization in order for like I don't even want to call it a personal realization, but there must happen for some human beings a kind of a realization that something is like a filter or something is falling away, and after that something is different. So I'm still convinced that there must be some form of realization.
Well, you could say no one's seeking and then no one recognizes. There's no one in there. So then any recognition, any insights, any thoughts, feelings, they just come and go and just dissolve away then. You know, it's like I think when the whole thing ended, the no end thing, I had written down a half a paragraph. But like that's just another story then, because really what we are talking about is just what's appearing to happen, and it's always fresh and new. So it's kind of an idea of then the recognition. In actual fact, it's probably it's the end of anyone that can recognize anything or hold on to anything. So like coming along to a meeting like this, there's no preparation, no anything, no idea what the first sentence or any sentence is going to be. It's full on whatever, and it's the same. No idea what those thoughts are going to be, or nor the question. There might have been a sort of an idea of what you wanted to ask, but then it just comes out, and it's this sort of freshness. And in the end, what we're talking about, or what the return to, is this inescapable. And what can be said about this? Nothing, no words. And that doesn't make it complicated. In actual fact, what's been said is nothing, no words. It's this, like, so then it can't ever be held onto. It'll always be this. So I see what you're kind of getting at, but it's kind of like never lost, never found. If no one is seeking, then no one recognizes anything. But then perhaps seeking stops. What's left, what's appearing to happen or appearing to be described, that's what's left. And then it's no one's then. But there never was anyone. And it's just impossible. But then the amazingness is the somehowness of this sort of sharing and gathering conversation, that this can be chewed upon or talked about and shared, and yet it's the underlying, it's the isiness, really, as opposed to any description being given. So, just seek and appear to stop. Boom. But seeking is a story also. Everything is a story. So what is it you're kind of wondering about? What is it you're kind of trying to get to? I'm just curious. There's probably something else there and I haven't answered it.
Oh. Yeah, the thing is, I'm like something is like I try to describe something, there you respond, then I sense whether whether that has somehow matched or not. So now you are asking me, is there something else? So I sense again and try to refine it a bit more, if there is even something. Yeah, maybe I don't really know what exactly seeking means. So because from my just ordinary understanding is like, for what if I am a very profound, if I just don't feel happy, like not euphoric but just not happy, like, then of course, like if I feel on some level a lack or something is not quite right in me as a human being, of course that creates such a kind of a homeopathic uncomfortableness that I feel driven to change that uncomfortableness, and I think that is the way I would describe seeking, like in my case or in whoever's case. Yeah.
But that would be just what's appearing to happen. So already there's no one in there doing that.
Oh yes,
It's
yes.
over, you see. It's over. It's just a little bit of a reboot of a story. That's all. It's a little bit. That's all. It's just it's the whimper of, you know what I mean? It's that would be what is then. That would be what's appearing to happen, and that then it's always the idea. But I wouldn't want to be seeking comfort then. I wouldn't want it to be more comfortable. I wouldn't want to have more money or more whatever. That's ridiculous. Then okay, it's an image. Then put it into a box, and it has to be like that. It can't be like this, and it's more lost in then images then of how this should be when it's fully free to be exactly how it appears to be being, including blah blah blah, everything.
Yeah. And hearing this is like, this is something I cannot talk about with anyone else. Like with you, maybe, with Kenneth, maybe. I don't know, with some other people listening to this kind of message, maybe. Yeah, exactly. That's like this possibility of opening up and being honest without a reaction of addressing, oh, you did something wrong and you need to change it. To hear then over and again, oh, that's what's just happening, has something like, it touches me on a very cellular level somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, it destroys everything, and yet it destroys everything, and yet doesn't touch anything in the same breath. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is that, like, when you open up with this kind of sensitivity to a certain different kind of people, it's like there's something else coming in, and it's like I don't trust it. Like, I just don't trust it. But that energetical movement, I can sense it, or that there is a trust coming in over and again. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's just
Yeah.
what's being described. Like, you can kind of be surprised where this sort of conversation resonates. You know, it just can happen. Mostly, though, 99% of conversations are a certain way, but it's the possibility. I was sitting at the side of a tennis court there, and suddenly, boom, I ended up having a conversation with someone about this, and they were kind of just going, "What the?" And loving it. And so, but mostly it's not volunteered. Mostly, nothing is said. Mostly,
there's just not even some kind of space for it in a way.
No.
Yeah.
Totally and utterly locked away.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yes. That's a good expression, locked away. Yeah. Good description. Yeah. Thanks so much, Frank, for
Thank you.
talking.
Saeed, can you read that paragraph? It's actually it's in my book. That's a bit of a marketing tease, isn't it? Jesus, that's, yeah. I'll email it to you. How about that? But there's nothing there. That'll be the key. Question. is the me a claim that thought is making? I mean, it's kind of hard. There isn't a me. So then there isn't a me. There appears to be what are named as thoughts happening, but there isn't a me. Now, it may be described and felt that there is a me, and if that's what is, then that is what is. But there isn't a validation for that because there isn't a me in there. There was no need for me, and there's no me, and somehow that question was typed. There is what is seen, and then the claim that I see. There's what's appearing to happen, and what then is appearing to be described and felt. And if that's what's being described and felt there, and the claim that I see, and that's the real, then that's how it is. From seems to come out of this math is that there's just what's appearing to happen, but that won't be known as a thing apart. It's the hearing of a voice. It's immediately, inescapably this hearing. Would you say a murder is a question here? Would you say a murder is innocence? See, when I've used the word innocence, it's an innocence about what innocence is. So that's then what's, when words are objectified and held to be real, innocence is taken as purity or whatever image of that. So this is the theater of absolutely everything, and it includes the worst apparent horror and murders, and then with that apparent judgments. And you could say it's total emptiness as this. You could say it's total innocence as that. You could say it's nothing as that. And no word will get close. All right. There's a meeting this evening at 7:30, and okay, might see somebody around. All right.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Take it. Yeah. Take it. However, you appear to be taking it. Can't say take it easy because somebody might feel that's a suggestion or a prescription. Take it how you appear to be taking it. All right. Have a lovely day. See you.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.